Let's go, Arkansas fans. We know the games in Fayetteville between you and Ole Miss have been blowouts, but the games in Oxford always get weird, and we're breaking down Austin Simmons. Do you have what it takes to beat the sensational young quarterback? And, well, the question is he actually sensational? We get a little RPO action. Good numbers count right there from Simmons. Work the receiver to the outside. So here we go. Should Arkansas do a little Barry Odom stuff? Rush 3, drop 8. This is one of the better 3-man rushes I have seen in a rush 3, drop 8. It's not my favorite thing to play. And you'll see right here that the pass rush does a really good job of eventually getting off the blockers and forcing an Austin Simmons sack. And you'll see right here that something does eventually open up. That's why I'm not a big fan of rush 3, drop 8 unless you're playing a young quarterback. So you can see right here that 2 is open on this stop, and this ball easily could be delivered here. The picture is somewhat clear. You can see he's trying to throw it, and he says, no, I'm not going to do it, and runs into the pressure. Okay, let's move ahead a little bit later in this game. You can see that the snap isn't great, but the man I want to point out is the one that Arkansas fans love to see fail, and Ole Miss fans are absolutely destroying him. That is number 75, Patrick Kustas. A lot of you call him Judas Kustas, the transfer from Arkansas. Now, it's one thing if you just transfer from Arkansas to Ole Miss, but I'm not going to get into the drama regarding what he has said about Arkansas and all that stuff. He gets absolutely dominated by this defensive tackle, and, well, the bull rush just is generating a lot of pressure. Now, what actually happens on this pick right here by Austin Simmons is something that happens quite a bit to young QBs, okay? He feels that this corner is pressing down on the out, all right? The corner is not pressing down on the out. You can see he opens his hips once he sees that this ball is being thrown over here. Now, before I actually show you the throw, take a look at the mechanics here. He is backing up, and look at how open his gate is, right? It's okay to fade away on some throws. Let's just say it's an all-out blitz and you're throwing a shallow drag or something like that. But on this instance, you're not going to generate the torque on this football that you want to anyway. So versus SEC corners versus even D3 corners, high school corners, that's getting picked off. So once again, give Kentucky a lot of credit for playing this really well. So this right here, this play call, is one of Lane's best play calls in his career. For some reason, Kentucky always gives Ole Miss a lot of trouble. They're down by 10. Ole Miss was a pretty nice-sized favorite in this one. And on 4th down, you're thinking that it's going to be some kind of short run. Lane thinks the opposite. We should be aggressive because the defense is really going to be pressed in, and they're not going to think it's going to be a throw. Now, the funny thing about this is it's not as if Kentucky had 1,000 people at the line of scrimmage, but the play-action fake still fools these backers, and there are coverage mishaps all over the place. This vertical is open right here. Simmons throws this go ball to 2, one of the better receivers on this team. He is a transfer, Harrison Wallace from Penn State, and 25 does not make the tackle. And now this becomes an absolutely positively massive gain right here. So you must be ready for that if you are Arkansas, and 18 makes a good touchdown. And as is the case with every Lane Kiffin Ole Miss QB, none of them are elite runners, but they're all good runners. Look at this movement right here on the play side A-gap technique right there. Really good stuff. That's a good pass off to the second level. And guess what? You have a wide open lane for the QB to run through. Now we just need him to beat the safety, and he does just that, okay? And guess what? Austin Simmons is able to find his way into the end zone. How Lane builds in his reads are very, very, very good. So the score is 20-20, and after this hard play action fake, watch his safety just scream into the box. Even if the safety didn't do that, you have split field. We want to attack this vertically up the middle. So if you're defensively looking at this, you would think that there's no middle threat, but there's always a tight end. So this is Trace Buckler. This is a good release by Trace because it looks as if he's blocking at the very beginning, and then boom, he's gone. And basically, all Austin Simmons is doing right here is reading to see if this guy is flat and if this space is wide open, and he sees it and throws an absolute dart, okay? Really, really, really good stuff. Really easy offense, and this is a really nice explosive gain for the Rebels. Ole Miss has two different running backs they like to use. Logan Diggs, the LSU transfers in year 2 of the program. He's number 22. And then number 5 comes over from Missouri. That's Kewan Lacy. And you can see right here, this is a ridiculously good piece of running. So vertically, you had these safeties way back. You want to be able to run on this front. And this is a good bounce read by Lacy. You get really good movement on the play side defensive end. Judas Custis does his job. And even though there is a corner coming late to fill, they end up filling the same gap, right? You can see that this backer comes over the top. This corner is blitzing off the edge. And Custis actually does a good job sealing this play side DT for Lacy to run through. So it's a good piece of running and also a bad piece of rush defense. So you got to be ready for that. There's QB run game again, and this time there is no fake attached to it. It's just give it to Austin Simmons and see what happens. This is one of the smartest young quarterbacks you'll ever see when it comes to book smarts. He's already graduated, and he's year 2 into the program. The guy really has the feel for the game that you look for from a QB. Alrighty, Arkansas fans. This is Ole Miss's change of pace quarterback, Trinidad Chambliss. It sounds like the lost member of Jagged Edge, but no, he is a transfer quarterback from Ferris State. Why did I think Jagged Edge? Where the party at? He's got juice. Obviously, he's able to turn the corner right here and pick up a very critical first down. Now, if you want my betting picks for this weekend, join our memberships, right? You get my pick for Arkansas Ole Miss. I do feel pretty strongly about this game, and all I got to do is hit the join button. It goes a long way in supporting your boy. Now, here's what's really fascinating is that Lane Kiffin saves his best for last. And basically, this is my favorite rush design in all of college football right now, and it's run a lot in the SEC. In particular, Josh Heupel is really good at this idea. You're pulling your left guard and your left tackle to the right. Normally, second-level defenders are taught to follow the pullers. That's where the ball is going. But in this case, it's not. We're actually running this to the left. And this is so genius versus man coverage in particular because you can get a 2-for-1 on the outside. So this slot receiver comes to block the linebacker, and you're hoping that this slot corner runs with them. Okay? By him running with this receiver, guess what? It opens up an even bigger pocket of space. Now, the tight end has a tough sell here. Okay, you got to hold on just enough and hope that Lacy can get around the corner of this tight end, and then you got to climb to the second level to see if you can make a block right here to make this into a big, big, big gain. So we're able to get around this end, and then without the help of the tight end blocking at the second level, Lacy is gone up the sideline. Now, what gets really sexy is on the very next play. And it's important, if you are T. Will, that, Ole Miss last year just absolutely destroyed you through the air. They ran a lot of smash concepts that Jackson Dart just destroyed you with. And basically, you saw the high-low interception from earlier. Will you see a guy like Austin Simmons be able to hit the same thing versus this T. Will defense? We don't know. We also don't really know anything about this Arkansas defense because they have not been challenged just yet. Now, this gets really interesting because rarely do you see this idea run twice in a row, and that is exactly what happens here, okay? The right guard and the right tackle are now pulling to the left, and this time we're handing this off to the right, and not only are we handing this off to the right, we're handing it to a wide receiver. Okay, so Damian Taylor is actually a running back, but number 11, Deuce Alexander, is a receiver transfer from Wake Forest. Okay, you get really good blocks. 8 does a better job blocking this time, and they actually call holding here. This was a hold. It was actually 1 right here. I mean, this honestly was the easiest block on the play. Who is this? Dizon Stribling, the transfer from Oklahoma State, a senior from Hawaii. Uh, this block is not hard. Like, all you got to do is get to this side of him. The corner wasn't even looking at him. It's just really bad. And that allowed this game to continue. But whatever the case may be, you guys got to let me know down below. Who do you think wins this game? It is Power Hour SEC. Boom. Tonight we're doing Chile.